Dr. Les.
Oh, Shalom Rav, how are you?
How are you, Dr. Les?
Baruch Hashem, how are you keeping, Rav?
Baruch Hashem, you have regards from your brother.
Oh, okay.
I daven with him in a college muse. They have their own minyan. It's so nice. It's beautiful to daven with them there. It's amazing.
Did Prof. Barry shoot daven as well?
Barry shoot, no. He doesn't. He said that he can't daven there because he doesn't want to encourage small minyanim.
Really?
So he doesn't daven there, but it's beautiful there, and he sent his regards.
Oh, wonderful. Right, fantastic.
And how you doing? What's news? I missed you on Thursday. You wasn't with us.
You know what? Thursday, I was actually doing an interview of a survivor. It was incredible. You know, I'm very blessed to be able to do these interviews. It's a big scotch because they're not getting younger.
I think that you are very blessed to have. You are very blessed to have everyone in your pocket. Never mind.
No, it's a big bracha. But Rob, let me just quickly tell you. You know what's amazing? We beat Poland. Yeah. Can you believe it? We beat, first of all, Spain and Poland in the basketball. So who would have dreamed that? And it's big, hey? Basketball in Spain is like a national sport. It's like rugby in South Africa, and in Poland as well. And Israel to beat Poland and Spain, two places where we had such difficult histories with. It's actually quite unbelievable.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. So beautiful to hear that. No, Mazal Tov. Any news? What's happening in Israel beside that?
So with the elections, we don't know what's going on. The elections is very interesting because the blue and white are going down in the polls badly. So if they don't pass this budget, it'll go new elections and there won't be a blue and white party maybe because they... So Netanyahu, he's a politician, a very clever politician, but people are tired. It's a cabal they're doing it. They should put the country first.
It's going to cost the country fortune of fortune.
It's all politics. It's such a cabal.
Yeah. It's mamash cabal that politics killed the country. It's a beautiful country.
How's it, Rolf?
You know what the politicians doing. Good evening, everyone. We're going
to evening, Rabbi.
Hi, Rob.
Hello, Louis. Hello, Norman. Who's
hello, Rob.
Good evening. Mark, Louis, Steve. Hello, Steve. It's nice to see you all with us. We're going to do now the third part on a series of the book of Yehoshua. We explain the book of Yehoshua. But before we start, I have a suggestion.
Jeez, I'm struggling. It just doesn't end.
Give the rabbi a chance to talk.
All right, Rabbi, can you learn Nismas Esteban Moshe?
Guys, I would like to ask if it's possible. You know, we're coming on Thursday night, we're going to light Hanukkah, the Hanukkah candle. And on Hanukkah, usually we do the Sheol. So if it's possible, can we do the show 15 minutes late, 8:15, so everyone will have a chance to light the candle and not to be in a rush to enjoy the family? Is that okay with all of you? Number one?
Should be around.
8:15, yeah. Norman, you okay with that? I see Mark say okay.
Yeah.
Norman say okay. Louis, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Good. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Also, I was thinking, with your permission, maybe we should do also a Sheol Awards Hanukkah to explain a bit about the history of Hanukkah, when it was, what's happened in Hanukkah. So I'll tell you what I'll prepare an extra Sheol, and we might gonna do it on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday. So we're not going to disturb the Parshat HaShavua like we usually busy with. Are you all okay with that?
Yes, Rabbi. That's fine.
Okay, great. So that's good. I'll keep it posted and we'll go from there. So let's start tonight the first series of the book of Yehoshua, and we reached to chapter 17. Today we're going to do chapter 17, 18, 20, and that's it. 17, 18, 19, and 20. 4 chapters. And please God, we'll finish next week the book of Yehoshua. But in the meantime, let's go back to chapter 17. What's happening in chapter 17 in the book of Yehoshua? In this chapter, it's described, I'm just doing introduction to the chapter, that the heritage of the tribe of Menashe and the story of Bnot Tzlofhad, that they're asking for the heritage, okay, from Yehoshua bin Nun, and also Bnei Israel, the children of Yosef, asking for extra land. We'll explain now what's happening. So in chapter 17, that's what it speaks about. Now we start the verses. In verses 1 to 2, and the first 2 verses of the chapter, here it's described the boundaries. Let me, and I think I need to mute everyone because there's quite a bit of noise behind. Okay, I'll mute everyone. Later on, if you want to ask a question, you can open. So before we start, I show Yelei Nishmat Harav Avraham Hayim ben Eliezer Yaakov, Menashe Naji ben Farha, Mordechai ben Rahma, Esther bat Moshe Levy, ולרפואת ליאורה בת מרים, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, הרב אברהם בן מרינה, והרב יהודה שלמה בן דליה, חפציבה חנה בת שרה אימנו, גולדה איטל בת שולמית לאה, who else? דבורה בת אסתר, ויצחק בן טובה. Please God, רפואה שלמה. Okay. So in verses 1 to 2, and those verses, it's described the heritage or the boundaries of the tribe of Menashe according, again, to the lottery. That's that they done it in the Gilad Bashan, okay, that they are part of the land is Gilad and the Bashan. That's according to Yehoshua bin Nun and Elazar Ben Aaron HaKohen. That's the lottery been done according to the Urim and Tumim. Okay, that's the breastplate that was on the chest of Elazar HaKohen that they used to ask the question, and the Urim and Tumim used to have a special letters according to the tribe of the 12 tribe, and certain letters on it used to light, and that's how Yehoshua bin Nun knew what portion on the land, okay, that each tribe will get. So in a portion of the tribe of Menashe fall, remember Gilad and the Bashan. In verses 3 to 6, and those verses, the daughters of Tzlofhad, you remember Tzlofhad mentioned in the 5 books of Moses, he was the one that been caught actually picking stick on Shabbat, and Hazal explained that he done it on purpose, that the main reason that people will see that you're not allowed to do any melacha on Shabbat, but he given himself and he pick up stick on purpose and the punishment was dead. Okay, that's how Hazal explained. So now Tzlofhad never have son and he have only 5 daughters. And the daughters come to Moshe, you remember the story, and they ask him, we want to have a heritage in the land of Eretz Israel because our father, he was also entitled for a heritage in the land. And Hazal explained there that what's happened, that Moshe Rabbeinu took the question in the front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu granted their wishes, grant their question to have a heritage on the land of Eretz Israel. So in verses 3 to 6, here came the daughters of Tzlofhad, and they're asking Yehoshua bin Nun that Moshe Rabbeinu promised us to receive a land, heritage in the land of Eretz Israel, and Yehoshua ben Nun actually fulfilled the promise that Moshe Rabbeinu given to the daughter of Shlofhad. In verses 7 to 13, and those verses, it's actually now describe the boundaries of the tribe of Bnei Menashe, the tribe of Bnei Menashe, that amongst them gonna be living the Canaanite that inside their heritage they have to leave them alive, that they're not gonna actually harm them. In verses 14 to 18, here the children of Yosef, Ephraim and Menashe, approaching Yehoshua ben Nun and asking him and explaining to him, Yehoshua ben Nun, please, we have a big tribes and we need extra land. Can we receive the extra land in the land of Eretz Israel? And Yehoshua ben Nun asking Urim and Tumim, obviously, and he given him a permission to go up and to chop the trees in the land of the Prizi, the forest, the trees in a forest of the Prizi and Harefaim, Harefaim there, because the number is big, it's a big tribes, they are a big tribe, so they can have extra land for their people. Yehoshua ben Nun also, and those verses actually encourage the tribe of Yosef, the children of Yosef, that Ephraim and Menashe, and he explained to him, do not be scared from the Prizi, the people of the Prizi. I don't know how you say it in English. I don't know if there is a word in English to say Prizi, but here Yehoshua ben Nun encouraged the children of Yosef not to be afraid, to go to a war, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help him to conquer the city of the Prizi and to receive the heritage in the land of Eretz Israel, to extend the boundaries. That's chapter 17. In chapter 18, we see something very interesting. Here we see that there is a delegation of the rest of the 7 of the tribe that left. And here, Yehoshua ben Nun asked them, okay, to write what do you call it? To write the land where they prefer to have a land, to go, we'll see that they're going to Eretz Israel, and to write where they prefer to have the land. Also, in the same thing, we'll speak about the heritage of the tribe of Binyamin. That's what it speaks in this chapter. So in verse 1 to 10 of chapter 18, in those verses, it's described that after 7 years of war, that Bnei Israel actually conquering the land of Eretz Israel, and then another 7 years, okay, that dividing the land for the tribe in total 14 years of conquering and dividing the land of Eretz Israel, and Oel Moed that Oel Moed been moved to Shiloh. Shiloh is in Nablus, because until now it was in a Gilgal, but now it's moved to Nablus, to Shiloh. Shiloh is Nablus. And also in those verses, we see that Yehoshua ben Nun tell the Jewish people that now ne'esru bamot. What it means bamot? Until now, everyone that wanted to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, wanted to show his appreciation to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, build a bama. A bama is an altar, and brought his sacrifice to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, after the conquering and preparing for the final dividing of the land for the rest of the 7 tribes, here we see on those verses that Yehoshua ben Nun actually stop and doesn't allowed in the command of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, obviously, that if they want to bring or to say thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that can be also only an oil moed in Shiloh, in Shechem. No one allowed to build his own altar and to bring his sacrifice. Also, in those verses, we see something very interesting. Yehoshua bin Nun asked each tribe to send 3 people from this tribe and to go and to travel in the land of Eretz Israel, and they must write the area or the place that they would love to live in Eretz Israel. That means Yehoshua bin Nun asked from every tribes that left, okay, 7 tribes left that didn't receive yet their heritage in Eretz Israel. That means he asked 21 people, 3 from every tribe, to go to travel and the rest of the land of Eretz Israel that not been given yet, and to ask them where they would like to have the tribes. In verses 11 to 28, and those verses it describe that what's happened and the Urim and Tumim, that mean in a lottery that they done to the tribes of Binyamin, that Yerushalayim, the city of Jerusalem, become part of his heritage. And the Mefarshim explain why Dafka Binyamin? Why Dafka Binyamin? There is Yehuda, that he was the king of the Jewish people. We know Malchut Yehuda. But then also there is Reuven, that was the Bechor, the first child of Yaakov Avinu, the first one in a tribe. None of them received any part in the city of Jerusalem. It fell in a part of Binyamin. And the Mefarshim explain that the main reason for it, and we'll read about it, and we actually read about it last week on Shabbat, that from all the tribes, from all the children that Yaakov Avinu have, when they bowed down to Esav, Binyamin was the one that didn't bow down. And why? Because simply he didn't born. He didn't born yet. When did Binyamin born? Binyamin born only after the meeting with Esav. He born b'derech Bethlehem, al em haderech. You remember we spoke about it, why Rachel Imenu buried there. So in that merit, he received that in his portion will be Yerushalayim, Jerusalem. Okay, we see from here that in those 28 verses in a chapter, it speaks about number 1 and the most important, that the 7 years of conquering of the land, 7 years of actually dividing the land, bringing the land, okay? Now the oil moed, that means the oil moed is the tent of meeting, okay? Move to Shiloh. Shiloh, it's in, we explain it's in Shechem, the city of Shechem of today, by the way. And also it speaks about that Yehoshua bin Nun asked the 7 left of the tribe to walk around the land of Eretz Israel to see which portion of the land didn't been taken yet and to decide which one they would like. In chapter 19, it speaks very briefly about the land where they're getting the portion in the land of Eretz Israel. And in the end, it tells us that Yehoshua bin Nun received a city that's called Timnat Serach. We'll speak about Timnat Serach just now, and we'll explain where is it. In verses 1 to 9, and those verses, it's describe the boundaries and the land of the tribe of Shimon, where he received that. Then it moved in verses 10 to 16, it described the boundaries and the land of Shevet Zevulun that they received. 17 to 23 speak about the boundaries of Shevet Issachar, and the verses 32 to 39 speak about the land of the tribe of Naphtali. In the rest of the verses, that's 40 to 48, okay? And those verses, it's describe the boundaries of Shevet Dan. And here come something very important. In verses 49 to verses 51, and those verses, it's describe the dividing of the Eretz Israel to the land. And here there is something very interesting. Yehoshua bin Nun received the city of Timnath Serah from the children of Israel without anything. That's by the command of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Where is Timnath Serah? Timnath Serah is in a portion of Har Ephraim, in the land of Har Ephraim, the mountain of Ephraim. And now that's where is it today for us to understand. In Israel, there is a place that's called Ariel. I'm sure that some of you been there. It's a city that's called Ariel. Ariel, as a matter of fact, that city started in 1984. And I'll tell you how I know. 1984, 1985, they start building the city of Ariel. Where is Ariel? In Har Ephraim. And Timnath Serah is northwest to Ariel. It's very close to, not far from Shechem, not far from Nablus. What's happening there? That's the place that Yehoshua bin Nun received that city to himself, and that's where he buried, by the way. That's where Yehoshua bin Nun is buried in the city of Timnath Serah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu command Bnei Israel to give a special place that's called Timnath Serah to Yehoshua bin Nun. What is Timnath Serah? Many of the Mefarshim that speak about it, they explain that the Canaanite, what they used to have there, that they used to put a kind of a pictures that describe the god that was the god of the, what do you call it, the moon. And that's what they used to be. And here come Yehoshua, obviously, when they conquered the land, when they fought and he took it all, and they get rid of it. And here HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked and command Bnei Israel that they obligate to give that city to Yehoshua bin Nun. And that's what it's mentioned in verses 49 to verse 51, those the verses. Okay. Then there's something very interesting in chapter 20. And that's the last chapter for today. In verse 20, it doesn't speak anymore about the tribes. It's changed completely different scenario. Here it speaks about the law of a person, Rotzeach Bishgaga, a person that murdered by mistake, and appointing Arei Miklat, the city of refuge. What does it mean? We'll explain now, and we'll explain how many was city of refuge for Bnei Israel. So in verses 1 to 6, and those verses, it's been described the command that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell Bnei Israel in Yehoshua, command Bnei Israel to build a city of refuge for a person that murdered the other Jewish person by mistake. And it's described how long a person that murdered by mistake obligated to sit in a city of refuge. As you all know, that how many city of refuge was, in verses 7 to 9, it's explained. In verses 7 to 9, it explained that in total, must be 6 city of refuge. 3 inside the portion of Eretz Israel, inside the land of Eretz Israel, and 3 was outside the portion of Eretz Israel by the Jordan Valley. Okay? Now, how long that a person that murdered by mistake have to stay in a city of refuge? He obligated to stay there until the Kohen Gadol that was in appointed, that was serving, die. That was the law. And there is explanation why Dafka the Kohen Gadol, and what was the job of the Kohen Gadol, because the job of the Kohen Gadol used to bring peace, and why to wait, then everyone will pray that the Kohen Gadol will die earlier. But Hazal explained that the mothers of the Kohen Gadol used to come, and they used to prepare food and water, and used to give it to those prisoners, if you want to call them, because they are prisoners in a city of refuge, that they will not only food and water, they used to give them also clothes, that they will not pray that the son will die. So we learn from here that in the city of Israel was 6 cities of refuge, 3 inside the land of Eretz Israel, and 3 outside the city of Israel. That's across the Jordan Valley outside Eretz Israel. How long the person have to sit in a city of refuge. That's basically what described in those 4 chapters that we spoke. Now, if you have any question, I would like to give time for anyone to ask question regarding what we spoke in the book of Yehoshua, because next week will be the final episode, the final series regarding the book of Yehoshua. There we're going to do chapter 21, 22, 23, and 24, and we're going to conclude the book of Yehoshua. Any question? Bechavod. No question. I would like to suggest one thing. I'm gonna ask everyone. I'm sure that you all have certain question regarding Hanukkah. Maybe what we should do. I'm going to do introduction to Hanukkah, obviously. But if you have question, you can send it to me on WhatsApp, and I will put that part of the shiur for those that obviously know the answer, or those that didn't ask the answer. And it will be very interesting to understand the law of Hanukkah. For example, Hazal asking if the oil, when I say Hazal, it's in a Shulchan Aruch, our sages ask, is a person allowed to light the menorah of Hanukkah? Listen to me, the menorah of Hanukkah, not candle for Shabbat, with oil that it's not kosher. Oil that it's not kosher. There's no hefsher to the oil. And a matter of fact, that oil, you know that it's not kosher. Not only you have a doubt, you know for certain that that oil is not kosher. That oil been made with ingredients that they're not kosher. This is one of the questions that been asked in a Shulchan Aruch regarding lighting a candle of Hanukkah. Obviously, most of us light candles. Some of us light with olive oil because it gives a beautiful light. But we have to understand those questions that we're going to speak about, please God, in a show regarding Hanukkah and what was the Psak Halacha and what a person should do. Is going on holiday maybe. Some of you may be traveling. I don't know how many of you traveling, but if any one of you traveling, the question becomes, you stuck somewhere in a place that there is no kosher oil and you decide to light your menorah. Can you use oil that it's not kosher? And you know it for certain that the oil is not kosher. There's no doubt. Maybe it's kosher, maybe it's not. It's definitely not kosher. And you don't have, obviously, any other oil. So I'm going to make it very simple for you. I'm going to help you now. But if you have any question, please ask, and we'll try to answer now. And we're going to answer, please God, on Tuesday, Wednesday, when we're going to do the shiur to introduce Hanukkah. So the Shulchan Aruch say, the Maran Shulchan Aruch say, that oil like this, there is no problem to light it. What does it mean? Lehalacha, we paskin that there is no problem. But, here comes the big but. We're not encouraging to use this oil. It's only if you don't have this kind of oil. But if you want to light with it, yes, you can. Okay? But you can't say that it's negative. The answer is not. The answer is yes, but we're not encouraging it. Obviously, if you have other oil, you should light with the other oil. The problem is if you don't have oil, you can allow, you are allowed. And lechatchila, a person should light with kosher oil. It's not like Shabbat, because in Shabbat, the law is completely different. The law in Shabbat say that when you come to light the candle of Shabbat, Nerot Shabbat have to be done, and that's what you say. בפרק אלו מדליקים, you remember we say, במה מדליקים ובמה אין מדליקים, that's called פרק באלה מדליקים. There, Hazal explained that the oil have to be kosher. There you obligate to have kosher oil. But in Hanukkah, כל השמנים, say the Maran Shulchan Aruch, כשירים להדליק את המנורה. That means all the oil that there is, they are kosher to light the menorah. Obviously, lechatchila, you should light with kosher oil, not with not kosher. But if you have a kosher oil, want to light the menorah, you can. Okay? This is just for you one idea how we're going to look. Any other question that you maybe have for Hanukkah? Any question?
I've got a question, Rav.
Sure.
How come nobody ever talks about where Yehoshua ben Nun has been buried?
Sorry?
Tonight is the first time I heard where he has been buried. You always hear about
There's someone at the back radio. I can't hear. There's someone in the back that is radio off, and I hardly can hear you. Sorry. Okay, now I can hear.
I'll repeat.
Yes.
I've never heard before where Yehoshua ben Nun has been buried. Tonight is the first time. Okay. Everybody, when you hear about where Joseph's been buried, whether Imaot have been married, whether Avot have been buried, but nobody ever talks about where Yehoshua was buried. So it's very interesting that you mentioned it tonight. I just was wondering, how come nobody ever mentions it?
Okay, so I will explain. And I tell you, first of all, let's understand. Today, we explain where he's been buried because the book of Yehoshua speak about it. And the main reason that we decide to do the Tanakh, and I explained at the beginning, when we start learning about the book of Yehoshua, because many people usually learn, what do they learn? They learn Mishnah, they learn obviously the 5 books of Moses, they learn Mishnayot, and mainly people jump to Gemara. Very few, and I spoke about it with Dr. Les, know the Tanakh, know the foundation. People start straight from the book of Mikra. Mikra is the 5 books of Moses, straight to the Gemara. And they don't have foundation, and they don't understand the situation. And that's what you see that many, even people that studying in a yeshiva, I'm not Has v'Shalom come to criticize, I'm just coming to explain that they don't have the right foundation and they can't understand how our Torah is being built. Why? Because they're jumping straight from the Mikra, that's the 5 books of Moses, to the Gemarot. And that's why I decided, and I spoke to Dr. Les, and I spoke to, I think to you, that we're going to start learning the Tanakh to get a better basic understanding what is happening with our Torah. And that's why we're doing. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us the string, we'll go from here, from Sefer Yehoshua to Sefer Shoftim, and to understand how our heritage work. Because all what we know is Abraham Avinu, Yitzhak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu, then it jumped to Yosef, from Yosef straight to Moshe Rabbeinu. We heard a little bit about Yehoshua Avinu, that he was the servant of Moshe Rabbeinu, and with that it ends. Most of the people didn't know that it took 7 years to conquer the land of Eretz Israel. What was involved with conquering the land of Eretz Israel, what we learned together, Not only that, that it took another 7 years for Yehoshua ben Nun to give the land to the Jewish people. And when it was the Bamot, that you're not allowed to have any more, every person can take and give a thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What does it mean? You want to thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for whatever miracle that happens to him. He can build the altar and he can say thank you. He can shech a korban and that. Not many people knew that Oel Moed, the tent of meeting, was in Gilad, and then it's moved to Shechem, to Nablus, okay, to Shiloh. Not many people know the history. And that's why we decide to do that. Now you know that the book of Yehoshua not only speak about the land, how we enter Eretz Israel, how we divide, how we conquer. He explained why and where Yehoshua ben Nun been buried. And Be'ezrat Hashem, you'll see a few more interesting things that not many of the people know. You'll see next week that the Levite have 42 cities. Did you know that, Mark?
Yep.
You know that,
42 plus 6.
Yeah, but the 42 cities that they got from who? From Bnei Israel, they've been command. You understand? Not many people know that.
Yeah. Now, I'm just wondering because you often hear when you're in Eretz Israel that there are excursions to Kever Rachel, and there's excursions to the tomb of Joseph, but you never hear about anybody going to Yehoshua ben Nun's grave.
Nachon. That's all that. You're 100% right. It's very strange. And that's
why. Never hear that. When I was in Israel for 2 years, you had all these places people went to, but never, ever did I hear of anybody going to Yehoshua ben Nun's grave.
Okay, so I tell you, you used to live in Ra'anana. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So from Ra'anana to Kever Yehoshua ben Nun, it takes exactly 20 minutes. Wow. If there is no traffic. Wow. That means if you come from Ra'anana, listen to me, you get to Tzomet Glilot. Tzomet Glilot, you take left, you go into Tzomet Kfar HaYarok. Tzomet Kfar HaYarok, you go straight. You don't turn down like going to Tzomet Ketubim, you're going straight. You're not turning right like going to Givat Shmuel, and from there you cross, Beit Vagan and all of that, Tzomet Mesubim, Tzomet Tel HaShomer. You go straight, direct, like going to Nablus, okay? And you see that it's north, west of the city of Ariel. Once a year is a big thing, but many people, if you read, there's a bus, because it's in Nablus, it's very dangerous. There's many people going to Kever Yosef, because Yosef also been buried in Nablus. That I'm sure that you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see that there's many, if you look, the religious people go there once a year in the Yortzeit to daven on a grave of Yehoshua. But Baruch Hashem, look, we're learning together. We're managing to understand what's happening.
Yeah, very interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. But Rav, you know, also the Kever of Shmuel. Not too many people go, and that's near Givat Ze'ev. Not so many people go there.
Shmuel HaRamati. You're talking about what Dr. Lay is speaking about, the grave of the prophet Shmuel HaRamati. Why is it called him Ramati? Because he used to live in the north of the city of Ramot. The north of the city of Ramot, that Givat Ze'ev, there, if you go maybe 10 minutes, not more by car, 15 minutes maximum, you get to the grave of Kever Shmuel HaNavi. Am I right? That's what you
Yeah,
speak.
you're right. And there are not that many people that go there. You don't see many.
Nachon meod. You are
Even people living in Givat Ze'ev or the new section of Givat Ze'ev, they don't really go there that much either.
No, not many people know. And if you look at the history of conquering of Jerusalem, the Jordanian used to have a cannon that used to stand there, a huge cannon that used to face Jerusalem that they used to bomb. And a special platoon in that time of the Palmah, have to overtake the mount of Kever Shmuel Hanavi, because it used to be right on the top of the mountain and it's facing all over Jerusalem. You follow? So Dr. Leza, 100% Shakwa, thank you. Any other question, Rabbi, that you want to ask? Maybe you want to suggest regarding Hanukkah, or you want me to speak in Hanukkah, because I'm going to prepare. Because this week is going to be all week that I'm going to have to prepare another 2 shiurim. Is one, the long shiur that it takes us hour and 15 minutes on Thursday night. And if you want to prepare something for Hanukkah that you want me to speak specifically, that you really want to do, because all what I'm speaking or what I'm going to prepare speaking, it's the history of Hanukkah. When is it happen? How long did it take? Because many people think that it was chop a block, quick, and it's finished, 7 days. It wasn't like this. I'm going to explain the history, how it started and what's happened, and how is Hanukkah actually came about, what it was, what caused that the coup of Hanukkah started. Not many people know. Not many people even know that it was a coup. So we're going to speak about it if you're okay with that. Just to give you a bit of history, to look at Hanukkah, to understand what is Hanukkah. You know, people think that we're just lighting the menorah, because the Greek, when they conquer, when they destroy Bet HaMikdash, we didn't have oil. But what was the starting of the coup to go against the Greeks? What happened there that caused the coup? And that's what we're going to learn, Be'ezrat Hashem, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. I just hope that I'll finish the show by Tuesday, so it will give me enough time also to prepare for Thursday on Wednesday night.
Shkach, Rob, thank you.
Okay.
Shkach, Rob.
So I wish you all a good
evening.
And look after yourself.
Shavua Tov to everyone.
We'll meet again twice this week, Be'ezrat Hashem. All the best. Have a good night. Thank you to everyone.
Kol Tov, Zayda Jun.
Kol Tov, Zayda. Bye-bye.